How you going, guys, and welcome to Average Gamers Collective. Today we're going to do a quick guide on where the locations of the higher ground is in all the current 1v1 maps. For those that don't know, the height advantage gives the higher unit a 10% accuracy bonus and negates the lower unit's cover completely. First off, we'll start with Twin Beaches. This map has quite a lot of elevation changes, from the cutoff just outside of each base, to the raised buildings and pier-like structure, and then over to the obvious southern lighthouse structure, and then finally around the northern fuel and VP. So starting on the cutoff point, the top unit is behind the sandbags and the lower unit is behind the tank trap, and there is no height advantage. However, as soon as you move down a touch, the 3.5 unit difference triggers and they get the advantage. So next we bring the top unit down a little, so most of the squad is behind the tank trap. This is still enough for the height difference for the higher ground bonus. However, as we move the squad forward, it briefly comes out, and then as they go back down into the crater, the bonus is reapplied. This means that you're actually better off in no cover at all versus down in the crater there, so you don't take the 10% accuracy buff that they get. But logic would tell you that you'd actually just push up further forward and get in green cover behind the tank trap. For the central pier, the bonus lasted quite a lot longer than I thought it would. I thought the height difference would be small enough by the time you reach the first set of boats, but apparently not, and it's only when you reach the higher set of boats that it is no longer applied. For the other direction, it's much of the same. Yeah, you've got to pretty much push all the way up to the next green cover for the bonus to be nullified. For the lighthouse, the first set of steps are high enough to get the higher ground bonus, which obviously means the top level is high enough as well. The only thing with anywhere around the lighthouse is you can push up against the wall and the squads can no longer fire on each other. The only place around the lighthouse that didn't get the higher ground advantage was the front, surprisingly. Anywhere I went around the front, they didn't get it. It was only once they moved off to the side that they received the bonus. Back at the central fuel from the southwestern side, these were the only real areas that we could get the height difference bonus. Then on the northeastern side, it's once you move above the searchlight that you get the bonus. So for the next map, we will do TARANTO Coastline. This obviously has the large hill in the centre between the two bases, and then another smaller hill between the two VPs in the town, and then a couple of other small areas around the map. So starting off at this height is fine. It's not until they start running down the road that they get the higher ground bonus. And back on the hill, this difference is not enough, but as you move away, the bonus takes effect. It's just that now they're out of each other's range. But as we try and close the range and get behind green cover, you'll notice that the bonus briefly pops up. This means that once the green cover is destroyed, you could either move back up the hill to get the higher ground bonus, or you could push down to the tractor for your own green cover. And of course, off the side of the hill, it's pretty much the higher ground advantage anywhere you go, be it orange, or if you move over back to the green cover, or even right down on the lower end of the orange cover, you still get the higher ground bonus. And of course, it would go without saying that the top of the hill versus the lower road here obviously gives you the bonus, and then when you jump inside the building you get the bonus as well, but as Tightrope pointed out himself, the receiving unit no longer shows the indicator, so you just have to use your brain for that one. And there's a couple of little spots near the eastern end spawn and in the building as well, again not showing the bonus indicator, but if we look at unit model health, we can see that they're taking full damage. Now this is where the VP usually would be. You can see the higher units have the high ground advantage almost the whole way along this, and you want to be careful even engaging someone that's higher up and in the yellow cover is still going to outperform you. Another spot is the manpower capture point in between the two VPs. Someone who's in yellow cover here against your green cover in this particular spot is going to get the higher ground advantage and outperform you as well. Even if they push over to the green cover there, it still has the same effect until they come quite far down. And finally, the green cover overlooking the central muni has the defensive advantage of units approaching it for the high ground. The next map is PACHINO Stalemate, and it's pretty flat besides one particular area which seems to give the northern starting side a pretty defensive bonus. And I wonder if that's reflected in the relationship between the win-loss ratio and which side you start on. So starting with the hill up the top behind the green cover fence there next to the house, that gives you pretty much a clear bonus over anyone approaching. Anyone approaching is going to have a hard time dealing with that. They're either going to have to push directly up onto you or avoid you altogether. But all is not lost. If you do manage to take that hill from the opposite side, you do get a similar bonus coming from the other direction. As seen here, anything behind the tractor is essentially the lower ground. The hill next to it's in a similar position, which generally makes the whole area pretty easily defendable. I actually thought the lower ground in this fuel cap might have been subject to the same rule, but it wasn't. While I didn't do any testing, I think the house would probably provide a height advantage. So the last map is Road to Tunis. Now this map doesn't really have any significant elevation changes, so we're going to carry on from what Tightrope did and investigate the buildings and which ones do and do not offer the higher ground bonus. So these are the two smaller buildings in the centre of the map, and we can see that they do have the height advantage. Now what's interesting that these little buildings still offer 5 men to be on top of the building, so 5 out of the 6 men out in the squad have the height advantage, so that's absolutely devastating the squad below. Now onto the other side, and it's interesting to note that this building, although looking the similar sort of size, only allows 4 men out of the 6 on the roof. Now over to the buildings right out on the flanks. This little building seems to offer 4 on the roof, giving 4 men the height advantage, whereas the building behind, while it's only 4 men on the roof, there is the one in the window which would also be getting the height advantage. Then over onto the complete other flank, they've got 5 men on this roof. Alright guys, well I hope at least someone found this guide useful. It was definitely my most time intensive video to make so far. And if I get enough requests in the comments, I'll do the same video for team maps. Also, please consider a sub if you found it helpful, it's greatly appreciated. Thanks guys, catch you later.